All right, because Jim stepped out, I get to take on the honors of setting up our next speaker, David Betts. David is a recently retired partner from Deloitte. For many years, he led the CMU relationship for us as a firm. He's recently taken on a very personal startup here in Pittsburgh. I'll let him describe it, but we're incredibly excited to have him describe his own life journey and the impact he's having through his own work today. So, David.
Thanks, man. Well, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to tell you a story. But first, I want to ask you a question. When a voice is lost, what's lost? Connection, spontaneity, community. My name's David Betts, and after a 21-year career at Deloitte Consulting, in December of 2024, I was diagnosed with ALS. You may know it as Lou Gehrig's disease or motor neuron disease, depending upon where you come from in the world. It's a progressive neurodegenerative disease that will ultimately rob me of my ability to move, to eat, to speak, and ultimately to breathe. The average life expectancy of someone diagnosed with this disease is 2 to 5 years, and there's currently no cure. So this disease will take my voice, but because of what I've built, it's powerless to silence me. Because of what we built, it's powerless to silence the 500,000 people around the world living with this disease and the 97 million others out there with speech-limiting conditions as well. You see, what we built, Talk to Me, Goose, is designed to give people not just a voice, but their voice, their connection, their spontaneity. We built it to give people back the ability to stay connected to their community. Talk to Me, Goose, though, doesn't just give people their voice back. It reconnects them to their identity. It returns them to their agency, and it allows them to tell their story in their own words and in their own voice. Talk to Me, Goose reconnects people in a way that transcends technology. However, it turns out that the breakthrough wasn't the newest technology. It turns out the breakthrough was actually the oldest. The breakthrough was storytelling. It was storytelling. It was a storytelling feature that allowed a parent with an eye gaze device and with AI enablement to create and tell a bedtime story to their child in their own voice for the first time. This is my friend Darren. Just imagine his youngest child is just 3 years old. She'd never heard her own father tell her a story in his own voice until now. Make sure the video works here.
With a gentle light. Cuttlebite's most special trait was kindness. Whenever someone felt sad or had a problem, Cuttlebite's gentle touch could cheer them up or help find a way to fix things. One sunny morning, as the garden dew glimmered, Cuttlebite played among the swaying flowers. All around, little mechanical bugs, beetles with spinning gears, and buzzing dragonflies with sparkling wings glow with a gentle light.
Sadly, Darren passed away in late January from ALS. But the memories that he was able to create with his kids in the last few months and the voice of their father will live on in their kids' hearts forever. For too long, we've asked people to settle for far less than what's possible. We've placed barriers of cost, of language, of process in the way of people getting access to the tools that they need, the tools that allow them to connect with one another, the tools that allow them to tell their own story in their own voice. And that's why we started Storyflight Labs, to change that. Because these barriers are artificial. The question is, how? How do we put this solution in the hands of people who need it at scale at no cost to them? We do this by scaling storytelling globally. We built Fables Adventures as an outgrowth of Talk to Me, Goose. It's a standalone storytelling ecosystem. It's an app for creating AI-enabled generated stories for children, for teens, for adults, kids of all ages. It's a ton of fun. to connect, to share, to listen, to create a community around amazing stories. It's a community of creators that come together around storytelling, in this case for a cause. Fables Adventures generates revenue through subscriptions, through in-app purchases. There's a YouTube channel. We have a series of audio story podcasts, all designed to subsidize Talk to Me Goose. And we're doing this in addition to working with nonprofits, with NGOs, with governments around the world to make Talk to Me Goose available to the people who need it most sustainably at little or no cost to them. Because our vision is that we believe every person deserves to be heard. Not just listened to, but truly heard in their own voice, in their own words, in the stories only they can tell. Just words on a page, but at the end of the day, it's just simple. We don't build apps, we build connections. It's a world connected by stories that we tell, where every story finds a voice, and every voice deserves to be heard. So while I will one day lose my ability to speak to this disease, AI will allow me to continue to tell my story, and it will allow thousands of others to do so as well. So today's about the return on AI. What's the impact? Well, in just a short time, it's been pretty significant. And we're on a journey amplified by AI, but energized by opportunity. We were awarded a 2026 Zero Project Award. I got to speak to the Austrian Parliament. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined. Recognized among 75 other innovative solutions out of 568 nominations from 51 countries around the world. We have 950 global users of Talk to Me Goose. Most importantly, we have 70 families, I think actually a little more as of today, that we've assisted through a partnership with the Live Like Lou Foundation here in the United States and Canada, where we're making the app available for free to people living with ALS. The app is available on iOS, Android, and Windows, works in 31 languages, thanks again to the power of artificial intelligence. This is how we measure the return on investment in artificial intelligence. While this is artificial intelligence, this is real human impact. How can you help? We've committed to raise $250,000 for the Live Like Lou Foundation, and your support is hugely appreciated. Click the QR code. Ever want to make a shameless plug? You can make a donation today. Any amount is greatly appreciated. They support our ability to make this app available to people here in the US and Canada. You can, of course, check out Fables Adventures. It's a ton of fun to play. It's available on the App Store. Go make some stories, subscribe in the app, make some in-app purchases. All of that helps fund the mission of the company. You can go like and subscribe, as the kids say, on our YouTube channel, watch the videos. We're trying lots of new things as we experiment with storytelling. Turns out storytelling was exactly how I made the success in my career. I told stories to clients. Sometimes they even believed them. Stories are what set us apart. As Yuval Noah Harari says in his book, From the Other Species, it's what makes us human. Stories are how we raise our kids. Stories are how we inspire the next generation. Stories are how we build community. Stories are how I'm going to reclaim hope when this disease rips everything else away from me. And that's the story I wanted to share with you today about the return on artificial intelligence. I'm happy to take some questions. Come on, there have to be some questions. Yes, sir.
Are there other applications for your technology with other impediments where people have cognitive issues?
I would say speech-limiting conditions, absolutely. So there are 97 million people, we believe, worldwide that would benefit from assistive technology to help them with their speech-limiting conditions. So cerebral palsy, Parkinson's, post-aphasic stroke, head and neck cancer, the list goes on. Nonverbal autism. We're actually beginning to scale the team. We've just launched the company this month. We're raising capital and building out the team. to go exactly along the line of these conditions that I've just described, to scale the model that we've implemented with the Live Like Lou Foundation across multiple foundations and social services agencies around the world to serve people exactly in those conditions, to help them. This is an AI-enabled app that helps people communicate when they've lost the ability to do so themselves. Yes, sir.
Thanks for bringing this to our attention. I lost my best friend to ALS, so
Sure.
it's very special to me. But having thought about the Live Like Lou, I'm also very involved with an outfit called Achieva in Western Pennsylvania, which is the largest nonprofit for those with disabilities.
Yes.
And has a huge impact on the whole national arc. Have you dealt with them? Have you worked with them? Have you
I have
been?
not. I'm familiar with them, but I have not worked with them.
Well, let's talk.
Absolutely.
All
I'll
right.
be here this afternoon
Great.
until my energy runs out. Yes.
It's a really dumb question, but I'll ask it. How does the Talk TV staff relate to Fables?
So Fables Adventures was an outgrowth of the storytelling feature that was built into Talk to Me Goose initially. To be perfectly honest, and I've lost track of time, so somebody's going to have to give me the hook. To be perfectly honest, I found myself playing with the story building feature in Talk to Me Goose while I was thinking about what is the business model, which was not an easy problem to solve, and one I spent a lot of time on. And I kept playing with it over and over again and was having so much fun with it that I realized it could stand on its own. And I lifted it out and created the second app because it could stand on its own. And so I thought that's a way to make it available to a much broader audience who would pay for the privilege to have fun creating stories. And it turns out the proof points are there. We're scaling that app. We're starting to generate revenue. We're spinning off those stories. We're creating videos from some of the audio stories that have been created. We've got the podcast channel. It's starting to generate revenue. We're hitting our marks against the business plan. And my hope, the plan is to use that as the economic engine to serve the mission of getting Talk to Me Goose out to the world who needs it without having to charge the end users, because there are too many barriers for people who need that solution to communicate, and there should not be a barrier for somebody who, for the basic right to communicate. Yes, sir.
Not agree more about your point, when you said that stories are what make humans human, love stories. Just, want to know, is there a story that made you fall in love with stories? What's your favorite story that, made you a great storyteller?
I just love stories, and if you ask anyone at the firm, actually, I built a whole program one time around the whole concept of the hero's journey. Every great story has at its core the monomyth. And so the whole structure of story making, it turns out, is underlying the framework of what builds these stories. And so using that construct as the engine actually has enabled us to build technology that builds good stories as a basis, because we're using the elements of what make a good story to start with. And now it's creating an opportunity for us to take that technology and apply it in different use cases, which I didn't touch on, but there are other use cases for the underlying technology that also offer us additional opportunities to generate revenue in other ways. So I don't have one single great story that comes to mind. What I love is the concept of creating great stories from the building blocks. Sorry, I get a little excited about these things. Yes.
Question.
Somebody's going to have to give me the hook. So
Yeah, so I'm just curious about the model training. For example, if a person lost his voice completely and then discovered this app, so in that case, how are we training the model? Like probably by taking any previous videos of the family discussions or something like that?
yeah, so there's a voice technology provider called 11 Labs. Many of you actually, I'm looking for the banking, probably using them today. They are probably the leading voice technology provider in the world. And they do the voice cloning technology. And you can clone your voice with as little as 45 seconds of audio. And it's of the highest quality. When I first was diagnosed, you don't notice it, but I do. my speech was one of the first things that was impacted. And so I did not want to sound like a robot, and most of the solutions today do. And so that was the first problem to solve. And the second problem was, how do I close the awkward pause that exists when you have to type everything that you want to say? So the AI enablement closes that gap. And the third problem to solve was, how do I reconnect people with one another in a human way? And that was enabling the AI to actually help generate more text more quickly, so I don't have to, I can type less and say more. Thank you, Catherine. And then the story builder feature became the unique feature that sets this apart from everything else. I'm beginning the process of raising capital, so if you're interested in going on this journey with me, I'm happy to have that conversation. If you have relationships with some of the foundations that are involved in the space around cerebral palsy, around Parkinson's, around stroke, around autism, I would love to have those conversations and cheer me on from the sidelines. I'm on a journey, and this is what keeps me moving. Is moving gets harder. So I'm having a good time, and that's what matters to me right now. So thank you all.